Hello, everybody. I think I finally have enough information to make a real plan for what summer could look like this year. Now, I'm recording this in the afternoon on June the 2nd. It's going to go out in a newsletter on June the 3rd. So that's the timestamp. This is the information I have as of right now. We'll see how long it takes before that changes. But I feel like I finally have enough to make a plan and then communicate the plan so that you know what's going on and we can work with it together. Everything that I say in this video has a giant asterisk next to it, which is that this is fully subject to change. In fact, it probably will change, but at least this gives us an idea to work with and then adapt from there. So our hope is to run about 5 weeks of programming this summer in the midst of all this COVID crazy and making sure that we follow to the letter all of the COVID regulations and rules and restrictions and guidelines. We are really good as an organization at following the rules and making sure we do incredible things within the rules. We've gotten 100% on our last 5 Alberta Camping Association inspections and accreditations spanning over the last 15 years. So we are really good at making sure we run excellent programming within the rules. So first and foremost, we want to make sure it's safe. We want to make sure we're following the rules. We don't want to go against everything. One, that would set us up for a huge liability potential. And two, we just really want to be safe. We don't want to cause any extra concern for people. When you come to camp, it should feel a little bit crazy. It should feel like it's a little bit out of control, but in actuality, it should be incredibly safe, incredibly planned out, and totally in control at all times. And that's kind of the fun of it, is that we get to make it feel like we're on the edge, but we're really not. So the crux, the cornerstone of this is that we're looking at doing 2 weeks of day camp starting after the August long weekend. So August 4th is the Tuesday, and then going through to 14th, that's the Friday, we're going to do a day camp. Now, the day camp rules are a bit interesting, where we can do it in cohorts. And the cohorts can be up to 10 people, but that includes the leaders. And each cohort has to be completely separate from all the other cohorts. So they have to have their own space, their own bathrooms, their own entrance, their own everything. Everything has to be separate. Now, fortunately, we are actually really well set up for this cohort format. Behind me, we've got Memorial Hall. One cohort could be in there. In front of me, you can't see it. We've got the main building. So we can have a cohort in there. We have brand new cabin buildings that each have their own meeting space with bathrooms. So we can have 2 cohorts there. We've got the retreat center. So we can easily do 6 cohorts and actually have a full separate 7th space for staff to have bathrooms and a meeting space and things like that. So we're going to run a 6 cohort day camp program. That means we can have 48 campers at a time, split into their cohorts, plus 6 LTDs and 6 staff within the cohorts. And then we'll have a few extra summer staff running the program, being lifeguards, etc. Something that's kind of cool that we're going to do is, instead of it being like 2 weeks where you sign up for the whole week and that's your time, we're actually going to do it day by day. So campers can sign up for an individual day if they want, or they can sign up for the whole week. And the reason we do this is for a couple of reasons. One, we want to be able to get as many kids through as possible. So you can sign up for one day, or you can sign up for all the days if you wish. But we also know that if you're coming even from Red Deer to the camp, that's 35 minutes. If you're coming from Leduc, that's about an hour. If you're coming from Olds, it's about an hour. If you're going from Edmonton or Calgary, that's an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's a lot of driving if you're going to commit to coming out, for a full week. That's probably too much. We don't want to exclude people in that way. But if you're coming for just one day, if you want your kid to come for one day, we feel like this could maybe be a special occasion where, for one day in the summer, you get to come, be part of day camp. The parents or the guardians are willing to come out, make the trip, and then maybe go hang out in Red Deer or something, and then come back to pick them up. So you can sign up for the individual days. And then if you've got a camp friend that you are longing to see, you're missing them so bad, you can arrange with them and say, hey, we're going to go on the Tuesday. We're signing up for this. I'm going to put you in the cohort together, and then you guys get to hang out and kind of have a good camp day and reconnect in that way. Day camp is not the ideal. None of this summer is the ideal, but we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to be creative as we go about it. And we're not going to start day camps until after the long weekend for a couple of reasons. But one big reason is we actually don't want to be the first ones to run day camp, which is unusual for us. Normally we like being first. We like trying to see how things go. But with this, because there's so much unknown for it, I actually want to see how other camps do it through June and July, so we can, learn from what they did really well, maybe some of the mistakes they did, and then correct it and do our thing. So the details of how that's going to work are still a little bit up in the air, but we know we've got lots of time to do it, and we're going to create something really, really impactful and wonderful for those 2 weeks of day camp. Now, before those 2 weeks, we have the August long weekend, and we're looking at doing a family camp during the August long weekend. The reason I say camp with quotation marks is because it's going to look nothing like our usual family camp. The COVID rules make it really difficult to run our usual type of family camp where you have your adoptive family and things like that. In the rules, you can't touch equipment. Like, there's so many restrictions on it. So basically what we're looking at is we're going to rent out our cabins. We got 22 spaces. We're bringing in the caterer, so you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean. You're going to get really great meal. We're going to social distance like crazy at the meal times. It's going to be plated, so it's not buffet. We're following all the rules and all that. The beach will be open. It'll be kind of sectioned off, so you can go with your family and still be separate. You'll have to bring your own equipment and stuff like that. We're looking at doing probably like an hour craft type activity each day, and then an hour wide game, kind of station-based activity each day, and then some sort of session, worship session, chapel session. We don't know what the rules will be around that yet, but basically it's going to be pretty light programming for the weekend. So there's lots of free time for you and your family to either be at the camp, be at the beach, go into town, do whatever you would do as if it was almost like you were camping. So lots of free time with a little bit of structure in there. And then we're purposely leaving the last 2 weeks of August wide open at this point, because I, right from the get-go, have had the LTD program as my number one priority. If we can run LTD week, we are going to do it. And I have the tiniest slivers of hope that if the numbers keep going as well as they're going, that maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to run overnight camp for LTDs at the end of August. So I'm leaving those 2 weeks open in case we have to have a smaller group size and we have to split into 2 chunks. That's when we would do it. If, and this is the likely scenario, if we're not able to have overnight camp, then we won't do LTD week then, and we'll extend our day camps right through till August 28th if there's the demand for it. So that's what we're looking at there. The LTD program is so good that we don't want to kind of have a halfway experience for them. The curriculum is great, and we could teach the curriculum online, but that's not what makes the LTD experience great. What makes the LTD experience great is that it's immersive and it's highly relational, and we cannot do those two things over Zoom or over the internet. It has to be in person, it has to be overnight, it has to be here. So unless we can do it here, we're not going to do it. If we can't do it in the summer, then we'll look at doing it in the fall, over Christmas break or spring break, or over a series of retreats or something. We'll figure it out, but we want to make sure the LTDs have an incredible experience, and until we're able to do that, we'll wait, is our thoughts there. We're looking at maybe doing a 1-day retreat before we do the family camp, so at the beginning or at the end of July, where the students could come out, social distance, at least see each other, say hello, be in the cohorts. It's not a real LTD experience, but at least it's something to connect in some way this summer in the midst of all this weirdness. Some good news is that we've received 22 Canada Summer Jobs grants, which is great. So we're able to hire 22 staff now, which is wonderful. So we're going to have 4 or 5 of them be on maintenance, because we've got a bunch of projects to do for landscaping and getting kind of those Road to 100 projects completed. We're going to have about 10 be on the day camp crew. So they're going to prep it and get it ready and then actually run it. We're going to have 3 on our LTD team. So they're going to be running some sort of an online LTD experience through the summer. It's going to be pretty low key, but they'll be keeping tabs on the LTDs and mentoring them and guiding them and offering some sort of experience that they'll create. And then we're going to have another 4 or 5 students that are going to be working on something called legacy projects, which is basically they have 8 weeks to do something that makes the camp better for a long time. So it could be as simple as, a devotional curriculum for intercampers that goes into a binder and is for a cabin leader resource. It could be, 200 skit night ideas that go into a binder. It could be, who knows, the sky's the limit. These students get to draft up a proposal and pitch it to us, and then they've got 2 months to build a legacy here at the camp, which is pretty cool. For full-time staff, we're eligible for the wage subsidy, which is great. So that's how we're able to stay employed. That's been extended right through till August 29th. So we all have jobs until at least then. The camp doesn't have money really to extend us after that. So we're kind of in limbo after the summer, but we know that we're able to stay here and make things happen for this summer. As I mentioned in the Don't Come fundraiser video, we need about 60 grand to make camp run this year. 30,000 for insurance, $30,000 to cover our monthly expenses for June, July, and August. We already have $10,000 in donation that's come in, so we're looking for 50 grand to make this summer happen. So if you're able to donate to that, please do that. And then long term, we're trying to figure things out. We've got about $600,000 still to raise for the Road to 100 campaign, which we're so close. We're on the finish line. I'm going to put another video about that in the next couple of weeks, but we need some donations so we can do some projects there. And then otherwise, we're waiting and seeing how things go from now through the fall and into the winter. So if you would, please keep us in your prayers. Please be thinking of us. Please pray for wisdom and discernment and direction, for peace in the midst of all this crazy, and for kind of courage to do something crazy and do something fun and do something innovative in these weird times. We get to make this up as we go and try something really new. So please pray that God would give us some divine creativity, that would create something that is super cool and super impactful, where kids and leaders alike can connect with Christ in a really new way. So thanks for caring. Thanks for paying attention. I know this is a lot. I have a written report so you can kind of see it broken down as well. Grace and peace to you. I cannot wait to see what comes from this summer, even though it's totally weird and not at all what I expected or necessarily wanted this year. We're going to make the best of it, and we're expecting God to show up and do some pretty cool and memorable and impactful things. Thanks for helping make that happen. Peace to you.